Hello, everyone, and welcome to another elite episode of the Get Authentic with Marcus show. I'm your host, Marcus Ogden. On today's episode, we are joined by Mr. Steve Griggs. And you know what? Let's bring him on down. How you doing today, Steve?
What's up, Marcus? Sorry about the computer glitch, man. You know how it is.
Hey, man, it's all good, Steve. Don't even worry about it. So, Steve, first question. What does the word authentic/authenticity mean to you?
So, Marcus, I'm from New York, so everybody can see the fluff in New York. So basically, just being honest, showing integrity, and because when you're from New York, people can see right through the BS, right? So you got to tell it like it is, otherwise they're gonna smell you out like a rat.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't try to have the fluff. Be who you are and be authentic, be sincere, be you. Steve, can you tell our global audience a little bit more about what you do in your career and how you help your clients with your amazing brand?
So Marcus, I've been doing this for 40 years and it basically just evolved. We design and build legendary outdoor backyards for athletes, celebrity, and high net worth individuals in the tri-state area. And, we travel up and down the East Coast.
So, Steve, this is really awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into this business? And well, that's first question. How did you get into this business?
Well, my father was a construction worker in New York City, worked for the union, and he always told me you should don't go to college, join the union with me, you get good benefits and all. But I see him bust his ass every day, getting up at 4:30, going to the city, feeding five kids in the house and getting laid off. Because in New York back in the 70s and 80s, you get laid off, the city was bankrupt. And I says, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to bet on myself. I'm gonna roll the dice on myself, because if I'm gonna go down, I'll go down swinging. Like in the sports world, you got that basketball. I want to be the guy holding the ball with 2 seconds left on the clock, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you gained from that segment. Steve had an amazing father that wanted the best for him. Say, hey, you know what? Going to college is not what I want you to do. Go this route. Good job, good pay, good benefits. His dad was really operating from a place of love and wanting to support and help his son have the best life possible. But Steve saw something that he didn't like. He saw his dad bust his butt for all these years, and unfortunately, his dad was not in control if he ever got laid off or didn't have enough money coming in, all these different things. Again, and I love what Steve said. He said, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down swinging and betting on myself. And that's what entrepreneurship is. It's about your gritty perseverance, your demeanor, just to never give up, bet on yourself, and whatever product and or service you want to provide to your customers, just continue to push that no matter what. So I love that. And before I get into like your client base, right, Steve? Can you talk about as an entrepreneur when you bet on yourself? How hard was it in the beginning? And how did you be able to sustain, to be able to get through the hard times to get to what I like to call the thriving times?
Marcus, as you know, being in business every day is there's never you hit the promised land, right? Every day. Every day is you don't hit the promised land. You don't just kick back. And I think you cannot get complacent, right? I see a lot of people thinking, "Oh, I'm just going to start a business and go sit on the beach somewhere." You always have to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening, right? Because if you're the leader of the team, right? If they see you slacking off and go, they will take advantage, and they will. You always got to have your finger on the pulse. Always, never take your eye off the ball.
Love it. Ladies and gentlemen, you just have to keep going after what you want to go after. You have to keep pushing yourself and really doing and pursuing what you want to have for your business, for yourself, and for your livelihood. So, Steve, I have a question for you. You do high-end celebrities, wealthy individuals, people in the New York tri-state area, and you travel up and down the Eastern Seaboard. I love that because it really shows, right, Steve? You have the wisdom and you have the experience and you have the expertise to do your job. Can you please tell our global audience how you were able to, or how you're able to build the trust of very high end, very wealthy, very famous people to be able to get to do business with them because they trust you over somebody else that they may have as a potential option?
So what I've learned about dealing with those type of people is that they always have a lot of yes people around them, right? People promise them the world and tell them that they're going to do this and do that. And I think what they sense in me is that I'm not afraid to go against what they thinking should be done. You know what I'm saying? So I'll give them the straight truth, whether you like it or not. You're going to hear from me straight. And I think when you deliver on that promise, that raises your credibility. If you say
Mm,
you're going to be done by July 4th, you better be done by July 4th. They don't want to hear about your dog, your kid got sick. Like nobody cares about your problems, man. Like they don't. Like they freaking like it's New York. Like you just nobody cares. I don't care about anybody's job but mine, right? Like oh, let's be real. Like nobody gives a shit about your problems, right? You tell them they're going to be swimming by July 4th, you better have that pool ready, man. Because if your name, you're only as good as your last job, right? So
mm,
if you're not promised, don't. I always like to overpromise and overdeliver,
mm.
right? You
I
can't
love
say
it.
I may get there, I should be done. Nobody, they don't want to hear that. They need to know that you're going to lead them to the promised land, and the promised land for us is have that backyard ready for that Fourth of July party.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a business owner, I hope you gain great knowledge from Steve in that segment. He's talking about being credible, he's talking about being reliable, and you build trust, right, Steve, through competency, reliability, having people's best interests. Where people fall off the wagon, I feel, is they don't do a good job of being reliable. When you're not reliable, what happens is this: people start saying, up, good person, good business, but they're just not dependable. They're not reliable, and they can't trust you if you're not dependable or reliable. And again, like Steve said, when you give your word, follow through. Because again, Steve, this is my next question for you. I tell people all the time, in order to be successful in business, you have to navigate rejection, competition, and uncertainty. Okay, let's talk about when you talk about that. Let's talk about the whole thing of competition, right, Steve? So I tell people, focus on your it factor. Focus on the magic that you have that allows you to stand out from other people. I tell people all the time in business, if you're blending in, you're not standing out. If you're not standing out, you're not winning in business. How do you, or what would you say, Steve, is your it factor that allows you to always outshine the competition in your area and in your respective areas that you do business in as well?
So the competition is I'm not competing against other landscapers, right? I'm competing against, hey, we're going to go to Europe for 3 weeks this year. Are we going to buy that second family home? Like, so I'm competing for the discretionary income, right? So it becomes more just your next landscaper guy. I'm competing for those dollars. Like, how do I convince them to tell them that this is a good investment in your home? And that's basically how I separate myself. And the it factor is, man, I've been doing this for 40 years, man. Like there the it factor is I just have the experience over anybody else pretty much. Because I've seen it all and I've done it all. That's basically how I pitch it, right? You want to go with the guy who's been doing it. Like if you had a knee surgery done, you want the guy that just got out of med school, or you want the guy that done 10,000 knee operations, right? That's
Mhm.
just that's it. And then price, you don't. The price is the price. Like it is what it is, right? If you're competing on price, man, you're gonna lose every time.
Mm.
Don't hire the cheapest guy because if they got to fix something and come back, you want a guy that has enough capital to come back and fix whatever needs to be fixed.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, as Steve said, you don't want to hire somebody that is the cheapest. I tell people all the time, a sale happens, right, Steve, when you're credible, when the price is correct, and the timing is right. So what I heard Steve talk about a lot is the timing about the discretionary income, where does that family spend the money? And that's who he's competing against. And I like that because what Steve is telling you is be good enough at your job that you're not competing against another individual, another business, another brand. And again, I hope you also got people, especially if you have a business or you're in business, don't be the cheapest because the cheapest doesn't mean the best. It means you can do it for what you say, lower. But like Steve said, if something goes wrong, what's going to be the additional cost to fix it? It's going to be additional cost to take care of something if something goes wrong. So again, in business, don't be the cheapest. And as a consumer, don't look to buy from the cheapest because at the end of the day, cheap does not mean better. Steve, last question. If somebody wanted to get into business, because you have over 4 decades of experience, what is one thing you would tell people that are listening, right, Steve, they need to do to have a thriving business no matter what the environment is they are in?
Sales,
Mm.
sales, sell something, man. Don't sit there doing your website, your business cards. Go out there and sell something, right? That's it. Like just create sales. And if you're starting off in business, go sell something. Don't sit around talking about it, telling everybody how you're going to do it. Go out there and just do it.
So it sounds like Steve, you're saying is don't be all strategic, high level, big level thinking. Be tactical. Go out there, get boots on the ground, start trying to sell, right? Start making real connections, start marketing yourself, and get yourself in rooms or environments, right, Steve, to be able to what? Pitch your business, sell something, and potentially close something. Again, like Steve's saying, marketing is nice, but if you're not selling, then you don't eat because you're not making any money. So again, what Steve is saying is get really great at sales and techniques. And all sales is, and I heard from my client this morning, sales is the transfer of enthusiasm. If you're enthusiastic about what you're selling, is the person you're trying to sell to, are they enthusiastic about buying that from you? When you have that, that's great things to go. Steve,
Okay.
great interview, man.
Yeah, man,
How
it was good. It always goes back to like being, but also like, be authentic about it. We spoke about the first questions, be authentic. Don't try to be like a car salesman, like trying to sell them something. Be passionate about what you're selling. Like for me, it's landscapes and pools and backyards and plants. That's my passion. That's what I've been doing. I'm not going to sell you a computer. 'Cause as you can tell, that's not my thing because I couldn't even get on a freaking Zoom call, bro.
ladies and gentlemen, I love that. So be passionate, be authentic, and stick to what you know best. Steve, how can our audience get in touch with you if they want to find out more information about your services?
I mean, what also helps is we had written a landscaping book called Straight Dirt. You can get that on Amazon. That helps raise the credibility, right? I think anything you can get out and raise the credibility. We're on the Instagram as everybody's on it. I had to learn all that, right? Because I think you always have to be trying to better yourself. Always be learning, man. Always try to get better. That'll give you the competitive edge against anybody else, right? Always try to edge everybody. Steve Griggs Design, that's where we're at. We just out here plugging away, Mark. It's getting cold in New York, bro.
It's cold down here, bro. It's cold in Carolina.
Oh, is that where
Everybody,
you are?
oh yeah,
Carolina?
no, yeah, it's
It's
cold. It's cold.
cold.
Oh yeah, man, it's cold in Carolina. Everybody, go touch and reach out to Steve. Go to his website, find out more information. And if you are thinking about getting a pool, backyard, adding on, doing things, definitely reach out to Steve and get a quote and have a conversation about adding on and adding more value to your home. Again, my name is Marcus Ogden. I am the host of the Get Authentic with Marcus show. Thanks for tuning in. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you, Marcus.